Mahalo people, this is the Insignious Flame here, and I recently finished Bloodborne twice, if you can't tell by the obnoxious video I uploaded of it. And recently my viewer contacted me saying that he really liked my first ever video that was a commentary video and he wanted more. So here I am making a commentary video. Sure, a tier list of all the bosses of Bloodborne, excluding the DLC. You can find that video on my OnlyFans, because he is 50% of my audience. So I'll be rating the bosses on the basis of spoopiness, difficulty, music, and how annoying the run to their boss room is. And that's not a joke, I use that as a parameter in some. Father Gaskin. Gascoigne? Is it? I don't know, man. Werewolf Man is the first compulsory boss in Bloodborne. His design is both generic but also kinda unique. He seems like a hunter gone mad, but is absolutely gigantic and has moves that you don't have access to. He's also as quick, if not quicker than you, forcing you to learn that this game isn't for wimps and you need to take risks. Oh my god, this music is amazing. Makes you tense and rethink your decision of stepping foot in this place. So bombastic, it makes you feel like nothing in front of him. He outskills you in every way and is coming at you at full throttle. Then he turns into a furry, and the music gets even spooky. His attacks are horrifyingly fast and dangerously destructive. He also gains much more mobility. He's also an asshole who killed his own wife. Not relevant. S tier boss. Amelia is the vicar or the deputy of the healing church, and as we'll see, the ones closest to the church turn into the most horrific of beasts. She's shown transforming from a lady into massive canine-like beast with antlers. Weird thing, okay? She's covered in bandages and also has a blindfold. Her horrifying screams during battle cover up the fact that she uses the same soundtrack as the Cleric Beast, an optional boss from the previous area. She has wide sweeping attacks, some of them even having range. Her limbs can be broken to limit her attacks or put her in a state where she can be visceral attack, whatever you want to call it. She can even pounce on you, and it's not fun when she does that. It's bad. Compared to Gascoigne, she's much slower but not deliberate or planned at all, showing she has no real combat experience. After all, she's a vicar. She can even heal her broken limbs and her HP using simple healing magic. The fight can be made much easier by just hugging her back, but she can catch you off guard with a backstab. I like this fight, but it isn't very difficult, nor does she have an original score. She's super easy with a flame sprayer. It took me 20 seconds, Jesus. But a good boss, nice, good boss, aesthetic. Beat here. I don't have footage of this boss, so whatever footage I'm showing, it isn't mine. Shows you how unplanned I am, but okay. Bloodstar Beast is the dumbest name of a boss I've ever heard. Like, come on. But this boss has been the bane of many players. Whatever the fuck this thing is a formidable sight. You walk into a boss room and see it just standing there. Looks like a big woman-like figure with covering around its face, a hunched back and big poisonous nails. Its attacks are fast claw swipes, grabs and bites, much too similar to that of a savage predator. This is Animal Planet now. It is similar to a hyena, doing whatever it can to survive, like the use of poison. There is unrelenting madness in every attack. You can cheese the boss with the help of flame sprayers and blood cocktails, or you can even parry it. The music is good but doesn't seem very special to me. All in all, good difficult boss, very spooky. Gets 8 years of spookiness from me. Hemwick Charnel Lane is a place ridden with madness, mystical black monsters, and is also home to the worst boss in the game. The witches are easy, gimmicky bosses that summon enemies that are actually stronger than them. The music is really atmospheric, but the boss room is interesting, but nothing else. D-tier boss, bad. The shadows of Yarnum can be found at the end of the hellhole I like to call the Forbidden Woods. These bosses are dark-robed humanoid figures. There being 3 of these keeps up the pressure as you can never hide or grab a breather due to being hunted by 2 sword-using shadows and 1 that casts spells that home in on you. To balance this out, these shadows can be easily stunned and interrupted. The music is perfect for this fight, beginning on a single long note and then amping up in intensity. One shadow is adept at melee, another also has access to a flame sprayer, and the large one has a massive mace and the ability to use homing spells. You can employ a hit and run tactic or use the massive tombstone in the boss room to stay safe from the homing attacks. This boss beat me many times even on the second playthrough. They become much easier when you take out the magic caster or the one with the sword. They can still kill you, but they are easier. They also have a second phase where they gain access to snake abilities like extendable blades and summoning massive snakes to beat you down. Great boss fight, but since they beat me many times and I have to run through the Forbidden Woods, only A tier, no S tier for you. Rom the Spider is a boss that design-wise is unique, but it's a massive spider with tiny legs and a skull with a billion eyes, you get the gist. It is also surrounded by many other spiders. You also need to jump into a lake to find this boss arena, and that's cool. That's really cool. Music is very calm, unnerving, but calm, making you feel like this boss is gonna be easy. In the first phase, Rom doesn't do anything to defend itself, or himself, or whatever he is, man, come on. And only the smaller spiders attack. Keep in mind, they can do a lot of damage. After doing some damage, Rom teleports and starts casting spells that can do a lot of damage. He can even thrash around and hit you with his head. The luring of the player into a false sense of security is the only reason Rom might prove difficult. The location, the design, and the music is great, but the fight is kinda annoying, and also, holy hell, get me out of here, please, there's a lot of spiders, beat here. The next boss of the game that I faced can be found in the Unseen Village, my most hated area of the game. I hate it. To get to the boss, you need to run past 2 hunter-like enemies and way too many of these weird but terrifying and hard-to-beat box enemies, some of which can shoot a projectile that can do up to half of your health of damage and knock you down. Coming to the boss itself is a grotesque amalgamation of body parts with a torso on top. It seems like the creature, or maybe creatures, are in agony and desperately moving around. The torso on the top seems to be commanding this abomination. You can damage its limbs to bring the torso down to do extra damage. The torso, or whatever the hell that is, casts spells hurling a clump of limbs at you. The boss is actually quite easy, but getting too greedy will result in your death. The run to the boss is quite difficult and annoying, and the boss seems to lack attacks that isn't moving its hand and casting a spell. It almost fights like a child, doing what it can and flailing its arms and legs around, hoping to hit you. It's a good boss and gets a B tier from me, but that's it. Mikko Lash is the second worst boss in the game. You find him in a bunch of corridors with these undead floaty skeleton thingies that do way too much damage for being that frail. Mikko Lash is a very creepy man. He tried to meet a great one, essentially God, and thus went into the nightmare realm. So technically he's already dead and we are wasting our time. You have to get Mikko Lash to go into a room where he actually starts to fight. But before that happens, you need to chase him around into said room. When you actually beat the shit out of him and get him to half health, he teleports into another area where you have to chase him again. Because chasing the twat was really fun, wasn't it, From Software? The music is great and creepy, but too tense for this fight because half of the time you're chasing the pussy, not being chased. Bad, bad boss fight. CP, right? I like it. He's bad.
Oh, now I'm waking up. I'll forget everything.
Murgo's wet nurse is one of my favorite bosses in the game, and she's also the nurse of the Great One, Murgo, who is still a child. By killing the nurse, you also kill the Great One. This nurse is a dark hooded figure who has an invisible body, much like Murgo the baby. It has many blades, way too many blades in his hand, and the whole arena is littered with bones that crunch under your feet. A music box's song plays through the entire fight, maybe to calm the small Murgo down and keep him asleep during the fight. The nurse has many attacks, ranging from a heavy side uppercut with all her slots, the slicer, flying attack, and the worst one. The nurse casts a spell causing everything to go dark. Now she and a clone of hers both try to hit you. You can hit the clone once and it will disappear for some time. The nurse will try to attack you with attacks from far away while her clone teleports around you and try to hit you. Very spooky. The design of the boss, its attacks, the difficulty, and the music box all make this an S tier boss. If you aren't dumb, you probably didn't pick the first ending where you get your head chopped off and fought Gurman, an NPC that has helped you out throughout your journey and someone who seems to be stuck in this dream way longer than you. The same dream, according to me, is the reason why you keep coming back to life. Gurman is similar to Gaskin in the sense that they are both hunters and also the letter G. But Gurman isn't a maniac who has gone mad. Gurman doesn't want to fight you, or so as it seems. The music also reflects that. The hunter, stuck in the dream, doing what he must. He's trying to release us of this nightmare. Because that's what it is, a nightmare that won't let you die and puts you right back into the dreadful night of the hunt until you complete your contract. The contract being to stop the spreading plague of beasts, all hunting a great one. More on this later. The music is sad and almost heroic, praising Gurman, the heroism of the first hunter. S tier boss. The moon presence beckons, so that you may take the place you just relieved Gurman of. If you haven't used the 3 umbilical cords, it consumes you and you become the next Gurman, stuck in this quote-unquote dream forever until someone sets you free and you can see the sun again. If you did use them and figured out you had to without the internet, you're either joking or mega mind. The moon presence, while trying to consume you, realizes you're close to becoming a great one. A great one is essentially a being that is so wise they live on a higher plane of existence. You consuming those gods gave you enough insight to almost become a great one. This is a theory, but moon presence made the hunter's dream, or at least what I think. To Gurman, it was a step in making sure the beasts are perched successfully, but the moon presence made the dream so that the hunters could hunt down great ones. The great one being Murgo. Now the moon presence must kill you. The attacks are vicious, fast, and unlike anything you have seen before. Its design is so abstract, it's like we aren't even supposed to understand it. The music is almost praising the greatness of the moon presence, singing of its magnificence. In the second half, the music becomes sinister, and the moon presence starts casting spells never seen before. The spells didn't even make sense to me during the fight. I did die to the boss a few times. I liked the boss fight, but for some reason, it didn't hit me in the same way as Gehrman, Gaskin, or Margot. Well, maybe I'm not supposed to comprehend its glory, for I am a mere hunter myself.